Hey everyone, so in today's video, I want to talk about something extremely important that any jazz musician, student, or anyone who's learning how to improvise effectively and enhance your melodic vocabulary needs to learn. And it's how to play over 2-5-1s. And what I'm going to show you in this video is a very simple and effective way to extract melodic content from a 2-5-1. So it's not just about playing the most complicated bebop phrase, or you've probably spent a lot of time transcribing licks and things like that, and when you actually improvise you feel like you're just repeating the same phrases, the same scales. So what I'm going to show you today is a very simple method that's going to allow you to extract awesome melodic language out of simple chord inversions. And I'm going to then show you how you can add chromatic approach, rhythms, and even chord extensions to make it more sophisticated. Okay, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to start by showing you one of my most amazing methods that I teach in my Jazz Improvisation Mastery System course, which is the Matrix of Inversions. Okay, as you can see right here, this is pretty much in 16 measures. You just write the chords that you want. So in this case, a 2-5-1, and I've added a 5 of 2. So we're gonna have here a D minor 7, G7, C major 7, and A7. So I'm gonna be playing everything on the tenor. So everything's gonna be in B flat transposition. Okay, for this video. Okay, so how it works is you pretty much have one inversion per system. So you can see in the first system is all the chords in root position. The second system is all the chords in first inversion. The third system is all the chords in second inversion. And the last system is all the chords in third inversion. And this is something so cool because a lot of sax players, they just get stuck on playing the chords in root position, right? Which you've heard them a million times. And that's okay, but that's very limiting. There's not a lot of melodic content there. But by simply playing an inversion, you get automatically a much smoother sound. So for instance, I'm going to play the second system right now. All the chords in the first inversion. Sounds a lot more melodic, right? So, and then I can play the same thing. I'm going to play it all chords descending. So the same first inversion, but each chord I'm going to read it from right to left. So, this is pretty cool because already gives me such a melodic sound that the root position doesn't. And you do the same for second inversion and the same for third. The idea with the Matrix of Inversions is for you to actually write the chords down. So if it's 4 chords, I recommend 4 chords. And then you take the time to write the same inversion per system. That way, in the 16 measures that you see here, you have visually everything you need to connect the chords, right? So you actually don't have to memorize the chord tones. This is a much more effective way. The only thing you need to do is write it and have it in front of you, and then just read it. So read one inversion at a time and get your ears trained to the sound of that inversion. This is also an ear training. It's not just for you to play cool phrases. It's for you to identify the sound. If I play first inversion ascending and then descending, I instantly get and understand that sound, right? Ba-da-doo-da, ba-da-da-da. If you sing it descending, it's a very characteristical sound. And you see ascending, you start with a third, but then descending, you start with a root. And it's very effective and beautiful. And here's a very important thing. A lot of sax players, we tend to stick with only ascending motion when we practice things. Make sure, especially with this, to always apply the descending version. That's super, super important. So I'm going to go ahead and play each inversion at a time. So I'm going to play the first system all ascending, then I'm going to repeat that and play each one descending, and I'm going to do the same thing for each system so that you get to hear the sound of how this chord progression sounds when I play all the different inversions, right? Root position. Root position descending. First inversion ascending. First inversion descending. Second inversion, ascending. Second inversion, descending. Third inversion, ascending. Third inversion, descending. So you see all the melodic possibilities there by just doing each inversion ascending and descending. So once you get through that, you can practice it just to get the sound of each inversion. Then once you're good at it, you can instantly start applying the matrix by mixing and matching. This is the fun part. You just have this in front of you, and right now I've already have it mechanized, so I don't have to read it. But the idea here is that you go from one inversion to the next randomly. So if I pick, let's say, a D minor 7 first inversion, I can go to G7 third inversion, and then, you know, root position on the C maybe, and then first or third inversion on the A7, just randomly. You don't have to think about it. You're gonna automatically connect without having to think about it. And the cool thing also is make sure that you can start only ascending, then only descending, but mix and match also ascending and descending. So I can randomly pick, oh, ascending, descending, descending, ascending, ascending, descending, descending, ascending, and all of a sudden you're going to be creating these beautiful lines that sound very harmonic and very melodic over that chord progression. So this is how that would sound. I'm just going to randomly pick an inversion going to the next, all right? See how beautiful that sounds? You get a lot of melodic ideas, and by just doing that, you can start reading it. Your fingers are going to start getting mechanized, and your fingers will remember this chord progression. This is why I love the Matrix of Inversions, because you have a visual aid, which is the 16 measures. You write them down, and you never have to think about the inversions again. That's the whole point about this. I see so many students that think so much about the chords, and they're stuck in their head. Oh, what's the third? What's the fifth? With this, you never have to think about this anymore. You can stick with these 4 chords for an entire 2 weeks. That's all you need to do. Why do you want to go to play an entire tune when you can't master 4 chords at a time? This is much more time efficient, and it's going to make your practice more effective. Instead of playing an entire tune, grab 4 chords and break them down in all the ways I'm going to show you today, and even more so what I show you in my jazz improvisation mastery system. So try that. Just write any 4 chords you want. This is great because it's a 2-5-1. Why not add the 5 of 2? Make it a nice 4 chord loop, right? And then just play and manipulate the inversions. You don't have to think about connections. You just randomly move from one to the other, and you're going to connect magically in all these beautiful ways. So now the next thing that I love to do is add rhythm, right? When you add rhythm to this, you instantly become more musical and you start producing more melodic phrases. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look at the matrix, and I'm going to add and just sing one basic 4-note rhythm. Why 4 notes? Because they're simple and we have a 4-note structure. So 4-note rhythms are very easy to start with. So I can do like 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba ba. Sing it like 1,000 times until you don't have to think about the rhythm anymore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach that rhythm to whatever notes I pick. So once you're fluent with mixing and matching the inversions, ascending and descending, you can actually now do it with a rhythm. So I'm going to do it with ba da ba 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 da ba 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 ba, right? This is how that would sound. See how that instantly becomes a very simple but super nice phrase. Just by sticking one simple rhythm, it transforms. Because rhythm is the how. I always say that. Without rhythm, you're lost. Doesn't matter how many scales, doesn't matter how many chords, doesn't matter how many licks you learn. If you don't have a good rhythmic vocabulary, then you'll never be able to sound comfortable and musical and create beautiful phrases on the spot. With good rhythm, you can transform the same stuff you already know. and make more music out of it. And this is an example of it. Just, you see what happened when I applied that rhythm. How about another rhythm? Let's do one that starts on the upbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba 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 da, ba 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 da. Right? A 3 on. Really beautiful. Now, how about once you get good at 2 rhythms, combine it. I'm going to do rhythm 1, rhythm 2, rhythm 1, rhythm 2, right? So that means that on the D minor 7 and C major 7, I'm going to do that same rhythm. And on the G7 and A7, I'm going to do the rhythm 2. So it's going to be a 3, 4, ba da ba ba, ba 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 da, ba da ba ba, ba 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 da, ba da ba ba, ba 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 da, ba da ba ba. Ba, 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 da. Make sure you sing the rhythms, right? A lot of people underestimate the power of singing. You just want to go and play. Don't play. Sing, sing, sing it. Once you're in that moment where you don't have to think about the rhythm and it's just there, then you play. Okay, so now I want to do the same thing with the Matrix, but with its 2 rhythms, right? Here we go. 1, 2, See, now the phrase becomes a little more expressive and even more musical because you're combining the 2 rhythms. And you can do that, you know, we can stay for like an hour just talking about all the rhythmic things you can do to it. You can manipulate the rhythms, add a 3rd rhythm, or have them more asymmetric, like rhythm 1, rhythm 2, rhythm 2, rhythm 1, you know, which would sound like this. Right? So when you do that, it's actually really beautiful because you play the same rhythm at the beginning and the end, and you have the same rhythm in the middle as well. So rhythm 1, rhythm 2, rhythm 2, rhythm 1. That's something I also talk about in my course, Jazz Improvisation Mastery System, which is really all the things you can manipulate and do with rhythm. Rhythm can allow you to extract so much musicality from the same musical resources that you already know, like the same scale, the same C major scale that you've played 1,000 times. How often have you taken the time to just stop and try to play rhythms with that scale and see how musical you can become with that? Okay, so I have 3 phrases here that I want to show you how you can actually construct and build your own phrases using this method only. So here's a very simple thing. I just wrote the rhythm first. That's number 1. I always do this, and as a composer, this for me has been the most amazing thing. I just write the rhythm, make sure I sing it. If it's good, then I build the phrase, okay? Because the rhythm is just, especially if you're gonna write, is what's gonna produce the actual phrase. And rhythm can actually tell you the things to do. So let's check out this first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba da ba da ba da ba da ba do ba ba da da do da do da ba ba do ba. Sounds very musical already just by singing the rhythm, right? The next one, 3, 4. Ba ba da ba da ba 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 da ba da ba da ba da ba do ba ba. Then the next one, 3, 4. Ba da ba da ba do ba ba da ba da ba do ba da ba do ba ba da ba da boo ba 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 ba. Well, more sophisticated, more notes. So let's see how we can just apply only the chord inversions and manipulate them, repeat a few notes and stuff like that to actually create really cool phrases. So check this out, just using chord tones. Rhythm, the first rhythm. The next one. Next one. Really beautiful phrases. Just using chord tones and rhythm, basing it on the Matrix of Inversions. Isn't that fun? Already sounds great. You can do this on any style. I'm doing it kind of at a medium swing. This will allow you to create phrases for horn lines, salsa, bossa nova, funk, just anything. It's just the same concept. The rhythms is what's going to make it different and more tasty, right? So, okay, going on to the next one, adding a few scales. So what I want to do now is I'm just going to add a few scale tones. I'm going to grab those same phrases and I'm going to use notes from the C major scale to decorate a little more. And once you have the phrases, I just copy and paste it and see what notes I can change, maybe to add a scale note and get a little more tension release kind of a sound and a little more fluent sound. Scale tones will kind of serve me as passing tones, right? So let's check this out. The orange notes are the passing tones that I've included. A nice kind of more melodic, scaly sound to it, but I'm still basing it on the chord inversions, not on the scale. That's why it still sounds very harmonic, right? So how about I add a little chromatic approach? The same thing, I copied and pasted. It's pretty much the same phrase, the same rhythm, but now you're gonna see the orange notes are the diatonic scale passing tones, and then the red notes are the chromatic approach. Just one single chromatic, or, you know, I have a chromatic approach exercises ebook. Is pretty amazing. You can see the link right below in the description. That's going to allow you to really infuse chromatic approach to your playing and enhance your lines. But right now you're going to see the red notes are this chromatic approaches that act as this little spicy elements that are going to lead to the notes a lot smoother and more interestingly, sometimes on the weak beat, sometimes on the strong beat. So let's see how this sounds. See how chromatic approach has a lot of spice, and you can use it in so many different ways that chromatic approach can enhance your playing and make everything so much more sophisticated. But before you apply it, you need to know what to target, because chromatic approach, it's a target device. It's not a standalone device. Chord tones are a standalone device. You can totally improvise using just chord tones, but you can't improvise using just chromatic approach because they won't make sense. Chromatic approach notes by themselves make no sense. Like, why would you put a D sharp on a D minor 7 chord? But if you target something else, then it makes total sense. So it's always about what are you targeting. That's why a lot of times you see all this bebop and complicated solos. You see a lot of chromatic approach. But then when you take them out, you basically see chord tones. Most of it, it's just chord tones, and chord inversions are 80% of jazz language. As much as that, when you remove all the other complicated stuff. But chromatic approach is a great device to add later on. Now for the next part, here's a fun thing. I'm going to apply the same matrix of inversions. What I'm going to do is a super fun arranging technique. I'm going to replace the root for the ninth on every single chord. And it's just going to become a rootless voicing, a rootless shape. I love this. You remove the root. I still do root position, first inversion, second, and third. But now that root, wherever that root was, now it's going to be a ninth, right? Natural ninth right now. Come same thing with the rhythms, and you see how more interesting already sounds. I removed the root, I put a piano there so you can hear the context, and it just makes it a little more colorful. I love tensions, and this is a great way to actually apply tensions and start understanding how to use them. Replace the root, put the ninth, and you instantly get this beautiful rootless shape, right? Now, by the way, another thing you can do that I also teach in my course, just visually looking at this, you can apply what I call a octave displacement, change order, and actually create melodic cells. Now that's something a little more advanced that I teach on my course, but the easy way to do it is just visually look at it and see if you can randomly change the order of some of these notes, right? To create more interesting melodic shapes, or what I would call a melodic cell based on simple chords, right? So you would just do that. If I use this with the ninth right here, you know, instead of that's first inversion with the ninth, right? So I could change the order of maybe the last two notes here and there, and now I would be. So you see, if I play ascending or descending, the only thing I did there is I changed the order of the last two notes. That's a lot easier to do once you have the pure inversion very well in your fingers. Don't try to do this if you don't have that, because it's going to be confusing. But it's the same fingerings, you just basically, you're changing the order. Or you can change the octave as well, right? So instead of, that's first inversion on the D minor 7, right? With the ninth, I can do. Like even repeating a few notes, omitting a few notes, you can start manipulating this in all sorts of ways. You don't even have to play the 4 notes on each chord, right? You can use the rhythm, repeat a note, octave displace, change order, and start doing all of these manipulations that I really teach and go in depth in my jazz improvisation mastery system. But I want to let you know that that's an amazing possibility. I really underestimate it as well. All right, great. To finish up, I want to also show you how you can apply now altered tensions. Just use the same matrix, copy and paste it, and now only for the dominance, I want to change the ninth for flat ninth. And you see how instantly it darkens the sound. Right? Now, if I play around with the matrix like I showed you at the beginning, just mix and matching, applying rhythm, and maybe a few octave displacements and changing order randomly here and there, you can get this beautiful sound. Check this out. Instant phrases on the spot just by using this. Not even chromatic approach or anything else. Look. Get beautiful phrases. Now I might have added 1 or 2 chromatic approaches there. It's inevitable for me, but you can get a beautiful sound now, much more sophisticated. And now the same thing goes for this other matrix. You can keep doing as many matrices and copy and paste and have 4 pages of matrices with different variations. This one, I'm kind of mixing it up and adding flat 9 or sharp 9 instead of the root. And now check this out. I'm going to replace the 5th for a flat 13th or a natural 13th. For major chords, I want to use some natural 13ths. And then for the dominance, I might use flat 9 and always flat 13 to get that really spicy sound. Now, you can always do a natural 13th, at least for the G7. There's a lot of like more intricacies on what tensions to use and what chords. I'll save that for another video. Right now, I'm just keeping it simple so that you can really understand how to use this properly. This way you can start getting this beautiful sophisticated sound right away. Now, check it out. So for some chords, as you can see here, I've added, the flat 9, flat 13, sometimes a sharp 9, and sometimes a natural 13 on the C major 7 chord. Not all the time, like for example, in the first system, I just kept the 5th. But you can play around and do your customized matrix. Here's the thing, the matrix is for you to actually start building your own sound. How do you do that? Pick the sounds you like. From all the resources you've learned today, try to see what is it that you like. For example, in my case, I like this one without the replacement. I like this inversion. Like the inversions are triggers for ideas. So I like the matrix because by starting on all of the notes and by applying the same thing to each inversion, you basically get all the sounds that you can get from that variation, right? So try to see which ones you like, and you can do your customized inversions. So for example, for the C major 7 in root position, I like only replacing it with the 9th, but maybe for first inversion, I like the 13th. So just customize it so that you can actually build a matrix that it becomes a matrix of melodic self that you personally like. And this is the trick. This is the hack on how you can start sounding like yourself instead of copying everybody. If I used to do this all the time, and then all of a sudden I was just building random phrases all the time. If you attach rhythms and you start improving with chromatic approach and start adding other devices to the matrix, you can start gaining so much fluency on any chords, not just a 2-5-1, right? So check this sound out. I'm going to improvise now using some of the sounds First, let me play the Matrix so that you can hear each inversion at a time, right? With all the manipulations I've had and all the tensions. It gets a little weird too, which I love. Like, this is if you want to start getting a more sophisticated, thicker sound, because tensions add a lot of expression and like a thicker sound to your playing. You can do this, right? If I start improvising using just this and rhythms, right? Okay, let's go back to the rhythms now. These are the same rhythms as we used at the beginning of this video, so you can recognize them. And now I'm going to build phrases using all the devices you've learned in this video. Basically, you know, chord inversions, chromatic approach, diatonic approach, and I'm going to use some of these new tensions that you've now learned how to apply. And you see how the same rhythms, and here's the magical thing about rhythm. You can use the exact same rhythm and create 100 different phrases with that. That's why rhythm is so generous. And all those phrases will sound different, but yet still connected. So rhythm can be such a very strong musical power. And I'm showing you right now, basically, I copied and pasted those phrases and I manipulated them and changed it and transformed it with the new devices. You see how we added so much expression by this step-by-step system on using the Matrix. First, mechanizing all the inversions, put them in your fingers and train your ears to listen to the beautiful melodies that are already packed inside the chords. Then manipulate them, change the octaves, change order, ascending, descending, mess around with this. That's why you can say 2 weeks. Every day you practice the Matrix of Inversions on a specific chord progression. That could be the only thing you do. Then add simple rhythms. Then enhance those rhythms, right? Then take the time to write a rhythmic phrase, right? I actually teach you my step-by-step process on how to build phrases on my Jazz Improvisation Mastery System course. So you can do that and then see if you can put the notes. Then copy and paste that same rhythm and transform it. Add more things. You can actually create 10 variations of the same phrase by copying and pasting the same phrase rhythmically, manipulating it, change order, add more chromatic approach, add more notes. Like you can see here, the last phrase I played, that's a completely new rhythm, right? Completely different phrase. More sophisticated, I just added more notes, but of course, when you use more resources, a lot of times you need more notes to actually get the resources in. So that kind of thing, you can do this and drastically expand your musical language. And this is not only for performers. If you're a composer, this is magical. When I write my sax solos, my big band charts, horn lines, whatever I'm doing, this is so useful. I always start with rhythm. But now, try to see if you can do your own matrix of inversions over any set of chords, and you can drastically boost your improvisational skills and gain fluency over that. Now, I have a very special invitation for you to join my Jazz Improvisation Mastery System. If you've enjoyed this video, first of all, please subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be posting a lot of more video tutorials, performances, and more things like that. So it's going to be great. And next, I want to invite you to join my course. Okay, you're going to see a link in the description to join the course. And now, I also want to offer you, because you watched this video until right now, that means you've stayed until the end, I want to offer you a free bonus strategy session with me when you enroll on the course. So you just go to the link below, enroll on the course, and you'll automatically get an email to book a strategy session with me free of charge. I'm only doing this because I really want to help you understand the materials of the course, and I want to help you build a strategy. I want to understand your goals and help you develop a practice routine that's going to help you get there a lot faster. So I don't really do this very often, but you stayed until the end of this video, so you're going to get the chance that if you enroll on the course today, you'll get a free 60-minute strategy session with me. So go ahead and enroll on the course, and I would love to meet you and help you get your playing to the next level. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you on the next video.